Hello and welcome back to my channel. That's the third time that I've said that. Today I am going to be talking about 5 reasons that you should have birth in a birth center. So I technically did not birth my child in the birth center because he took too long to come, and I transferred to the hospital after like 24 hours of being in the birth center. 48 hours, sorry. That was a long time. But here's 5 reasons why I would suggest having a birth center. The first reason, and maybe this doesn't matter to you, but it was like a thing that me and my husband talked about, was that it's way cheaper to have your baby in a birth center than in the hospital. And that's like a widely known fact. So I think our birth center total cost, if I would have had my baby there, would have been $2,500. And if you've ever had a baby in a hospital, you know, unless you have like amazing insurance, like having babies is very expensive. So that was like prenatal care, birth, post care, whole thing packaged $2,500. Now, because I got transferred to the hospital, we had to pay all these extra hospital bills, which I'm sure still would have been, what am I saying? I don't even know. What I was trying to say was, like, I started some of my prenatal care from midwives at a hospital, and even that was expensive. Like, I was getting billed every time. Whereas like the birth center, I didn't get billed at all for any of my prenatal stuff. At the end, after I had the baby, they just sent me the bill. And they were like, you can do payments, you can do blah, 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 whatever. So that's reason 1, less expensive than a hospital. Reason 2, and this is a main reason why we decided to go with the birth center, was because there's less interventions. So even in the prenatal care and then during the birth, you see women in the hospital, you're hooked up to all these machines, you got IVs, you got all this stuff, whatever. At the birth center, it's just you. There's no machines around. Even in the prenatal care and during the birth, like they come and check you with like a little wand with a little, I don't know what you call it, you're not on a machine constantly the whole time. They just come like every hour, hold a little heartbeat monitor up, check your little baby's heartbeat, and then you're back on your own. So there's not a bunch of machines around. They're not doing ultrasounds like every month or whatever during your pregnancy, because the whole thing is like they want to be less like hands off and have it as natural as possible. So if that's what you're looking for, the birth center is for you. Reason 3 is Homey Environment. So the birth center basically looks like if you were to have birth in your bedroom. At least mine did. So there's a queen size bed, there was a bathtub, a bathroom, a little sink to wash your hands, a little couch area, a little chair, like a little lounge area. That was all in my own like private room. So it's like you're at home basically. If you wanted to have a home birth, which I like kind of wanted to do, but our apartment was like so tiny, the next best option was to be at the birth center, because it was like a room. It was very nicely decorated, super relaxing and comfortable. So the opposite of the hospital, with like standard hospital bed and a lot of plastic stuff and machines and lights, and you know what I'm saying. All right. So reason 4, this might be unique to only some birth centers. I'm not going to say this is for all birth centers, but most of them have the opportunity for a water birth. So that's the main reason why I chose a birth center, because I wanted to do a water birth. And like I said, I had a big birthing tub in the room. It's not one of those inflatable ones. It was like an actual like jacuzzi tub. And I could have had a water birth if I would have stayed there. And then even just if you don't want to have a water birth, you can labor in the bathtub, which is nice, makes you relax during those contractions. So, and then the last option, and some hospitals do have birthing tubs, but it's very rare. So, just to be like some people might be like, oh, well, mine had a birthing tub. Like, I thought my hospital was going to have a birthing tub as well, and they did, but it was just one tub for the whole floor. So it wasn't like each person had their own. So anyways, last option, number 5, why you should have birth in a birthing center is for the spousal, or like if you don't have a spouse, family involvement. So basically, it was me and Chris in the room the whole time. They would come check me and then they would leave. But like Chris was like basically could have been like delivering the baby if he wanted to. Like he could have, and they would have like asked him like, oh, do you want to like pull it out, whatever. He was not going to be that involved anyway, but if he wanted to, he could have. And I have a friend who had, think 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6 of her kids in a birth center, and her husband delivered all of her kids. So if you think that's cool, if that's what you're into, birth centers are the way to go for that. So if you have any questions about birth centers or birth center versus hospital, because I was transferred, leave them down below. If you want to know my birth center experience or our birth story, Bodhi's birth story, I will put links to both of those videos down below, and you can watch his birth story and my birth center experience. And other than that, I think that's all. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, I would so appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Make sure to check out our website, www.lovejamesmarie.com. Links down below. Ciao.